This tutorial is to help you with dividing with scientific notation. So I have two problems here. You can label them 1 and 2. And basically what you have to do is it looks like a fraction instead of more of a division problem, but as we've talked about, a fraction, it is a division problem. So you take your numerator divided by your denominator. Okay, but it looks a little weird because we have 4 different numbers going on here. So you're actually going to split it up. You're going to divide your constants. Oops, I just realized I left out the times. And you're going to divide your exponents. We're going to have to use our exponent rules. Okay. 6.4 divided by 2. 2 will go into 6 3 times. 3 times 2 is 6. 2 will go into 4 2 times, and 2 times 2 is 4. So 6.4 divided by 2 is 3.2. Okay, then we have our multiplication symbol. And then we have division with exponents. They have the same base, so we're going to keep it. And the rule is that we subtract our exponents. So now we have 3.2 times 10 cubed, because anytime we have 3 as an exponent, it's called cubed. Okay. You always want to double check that this first number is between 1 and 10. When we do the multiplying video, you're going to see why, because if it's not, the first thing you have to do is get rid of it. But for these two problems, I know that it will be. So the first number is between the constants, between 1 and 10. And then it is 10 to an exponent, 10 cubed, so I like that. And then I also want you to put it in standard form just to practice that. So we take our constant and we move our decimal 3 times. It's a positive 3, so we're going to move it to the right. 1, 2, 3. And that becomes 3,200. The decimal's at the end, so I don't need it. And then starting from the right, every 3 numbers, I'm going to put a comma. Okay, so be careful on a question like this, how it wants your answer. It might want it in scientific notation. It might say standard form. It might say both. I happen to know when you have homework, you're going to be asked how many times more is one thing than another. And because of the way it's asked, it wants it in standard form. So you would actually have 2 answers because you'd get your scientific notation first, and then you'd put it in standard form. Okay, let's do one more. So it looks like a fraction, but I know that I can take the numerator divided by the denominator. So I'm going to break it up. I'm going to divide my constants, and I'm going to divide my exponents. Okay, 8 divided by 4. 4 will go into 8 2 times. Okay, so I have 2 as my first number. I have my multiplication sign. And then I have division with the same base. So I'm going to keep it. And I'm going to subtract my exponents. Okay. So this would be correct for scientific notation. Double check that the first number is between 1 and 10. If not, you're going to have to get it there. And then let's also write it in standard form. So write your constant. I don't see a decimal, so I know it's at the end. And I need to move it 1 time. It's a positive 1, so I'm going to move it to the right. So 2 times 10 to the first is the same thing as 20.